Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'll be sharing with you all the cutting and stitching for this beautiful skirt and blouse that I made. If you haven't seen the pattern drafting, click on the link below to watch. While cutting out on the main fabric, I'm going to add 2-inch sewing allowance. Now you will notice I'm not using my pattern master to join the sides, and this is because this is not a fitted dress. At the under bust line, I will extend the line out in order for me to mark where I'll start shearing from. Now one more thing I'm going to say is that this is a stripe fabric, so you have to choose if you want it horizontal, the design horizontal or vertical. Mine, I want my vertical. So if you know that the upper part is going to be vertical, maintain the same vertical line even when you are dealing with the sleeve, the skirt, because if you misbehave with the fabric, it will end up looking funny. So that is the thing with striped fabrics or pattern fabrics. So I cut it into two for the front and the back. So here I'm just marking out the same mark I made in the front for the back as well. That is where we are going to start our shirring from. To mark out where the shirring will start from, we will mark out our under bust measurement. Now please note that you're going to remove the neckline, that is 6.5. So now I am marking the blue lines. That is what I'm going to start with. So I'm marking the blue lines. Now when I mark the blue line, I will leave one white and one blue line and one white line, then mark another blue line. So that will be half an inch distance. Pay attention. I will mark on a blue line, then I'm going to leave a white line, a blue line and a white line, and then mark on the next blue line. So the end is the only place that won't be shirred. We are going to use the embroidery thread to do a tiny weaving all through it to give it a design. Now I'm going to show you how the shirring is done. We are going to bring the elastic thread, and then you're going to use your hand to reel the elastic thread on your bobbin. Please do not use your sewing machine to reel this elastic thread. Use your hands and make sure that the knot that is on your bobbin case is actually a bit loosed. So we are done. Next I'm going to show you what to do. So we are going to go over to that part of the machine where we adjust the speed of the thread. So we are going to set it at 4, and then I'm going to come over to this side where we adjust the tightness, and we're going to make it very tight. To make your shirring very beautiful, place your hand at the back of your sewing machine foot and hold it firmly while you start shirring. Watch. Remember, you are shirring on the blue lines, the place I had marked. And please note, make sure that you are shirring from the front of your fabric. Don't shear from the back. From the front of your fabric, that good side of the fabric, that is where you are shirring from. So go gently. As you can see what is happening, just keep going gently and don't take off your hand from the back of that your foot. Just keep going. Go gently, don't take off your hand. Even though it's bulky, just continue. So that's it. I'm done. And now we are just going to repeat it continuously. I'll show you the second one as well so that you can grasp. Can you see how beautiful our shirring looks? So now I'm just going to show you the second one so that you can get it clearly. For the second one, use your finger and keep making straight paths as you sew, because because we made the first one, it will be a bit gathered. So use your finger and keep making straight paths, gentle straight paths, while placing your other finger at the back of the foot. The reason is because if you don't do it like this, it will end up, you won't even see the shirring to look funny when you're done. So that's the reason why you have to take it gently and keep making straight paths and keep placing your hands at the back. Even though it is bulky, just continue. We are done shirring. Can you see how beautiful it looks? I didn't share the last part because like I said, I'm going to use a tiny weaving to design it. These are both the front and the back. Next, I'm going to go ahead and overlock this side and then fold them, creating a pathway for my elastic for both the front and the back. And then I'm going to tiny weave that side with the embroidery thread. I'm done tiny weaving it, and can you see how beautiful it looks? I'm going to cut elastic strips of 11 inches because remember that our nipple to nipple plus 1.5 is just 5.5, so that is a half. Then the full is 11, so that's why we are cutting 11. Make sure that the safety pin that you're using is a thin safety pin so that it can be able to come out from the loop on the other side. When all the elastic has fitted into the loop, now use a pin to hold the elastic tip to the fabric so that it doesn't slip off. So then you continue to enter into the loop more until the safety pin comes out from the other side. Then keep adjusting like so. Keep adjusting until you get your required measurement. So these places that you pinned are the places that you are going to stitch on. We are done stitching. Now we are going to measure out the armhole. So the armhole here plus allowance is 5.5. On another pattern paper folded into two, we are going to draft the sleeve pattern. From the starting line, I'll come down to 12 inches, which is the full inch measurement that we will be needing, and then I would connect it with a ruler to form a straight line. Then I'm going to come in by 3 inches all through, and this is for the puff. I'm going to come down by 3 inches from the upper side. So now I'm going to go down, add 1 more inch because by the time the puff is elevated, it will affect the length, and I want an almost elbow sleeve length. From point 3, I'll come down by 4 inches. From there, I'll come in by half of my arm measurement. Now, arm measurement, not armhole. You can see it's exactly 4 inches. Now, I'm going to draw a curve. This curve from the point 3 to the point 4, like a statistical curve. You know that curve that is called cumulative curve or ogive. That's exactly what we are doing here. So now I'm going to just sketch it into bold lines so that you can see what I'm doing. Now I'm just going to mark half of my armhole measurement minus 1. Then I'll add half an inch is. Now I'll mark half of my arm measurement and half of my sleeve circumference measurement and connect them together like so. Now I'll take 1.5 inch sewing allowance all through. From the upper side, we would make the same kind of curve all the way to the slopey side like so, and then we're just going to shade it out so that you can see what I'm doing. So I've used the pattern to cut out the fabric, and I cut it in 2 places for both sleeves. We're going to remove what is remaining after we cut off that neckline, which was 6.5. So what was remaining was around 2.5 plus our sewing allowance, which is what gave us 5.5. I'm going to go ahead and weave this whole side, fold it up for the elastic. I'll close up this end. As you can see, I've already weaved it. Then I'm going to close up the side as well, starting from that mark that I gave. After closing up, I'm going to pass elastic of 10 inches through 10 inches long through the hole for the down part, and this is because our sleeve circumference is 5. Half of our sleeve circumference is 5. So we are going to use 10 so that it can fit. The elastic is going to be 10 so that it can fit perfectly. So we hold it on each side so that it doesn't lose up, so that the elastic doesn't lose up, and then we'll go and stitch up that side. For the upper side of the puff, I'm using an elastic that is thinner than the normal half-inch elastic, and the length I'm using is 11 inches. 11 inches is what we are going to be making use of, because we need 6.5 inches for our length, because the neckline that we had cut, if you can remember, was 6.5. So we are using 11 inches because it's an elastic, but the length we are supposed to get when we put it on the fabric and fold and draw it is supposed to be 6.5 inches. We are going to tie it to a strong broomstick like this and then pass it through the hole on the upper part of the puff sleeve. Again, you hold both ends with a safety pin, then go and stitch up. Our sleeve is ready. Now face one side of that armhole to the armhole that is on the blouse, front side facing front, and then you're going to hold them with a safety pin. You will do the same with the back side of the blouse. Just watch what I'm doing just in case you don't understand. We're done stitching. Now we are going to join the sides by 1 inch sewing allowance. And here we have it. Our blouse is ready. Can you see how beautiful it looks? For the skirt, I'm going to cut the first tier as an A-line. This is the measurement I'll be using. My waist is 27, my hip line is 9, that is from my tummy. Then my first tier is going to be 10 inches long, my second tier is going to be 14 inches long, and the last one will be 23 inches long. So now we'll take our waist measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch. That we will take the length of the first tier, which is 10 inches, and then we'll connect with a ruler to form a straight line. Then we will connect this 10 inches line to the dart line to form what we need. Then we'll mark 10 at this point and then try to make a curve like as if we are making a flare, but we maintain the 10-inch length, and then we'll make a little curve. This is to avoid any form of pointiness that comes with a line. After we are done with that, we're just going to cut out and label this as the first tier. So I've gone ahead to cut on the fabric. This is the first tier, this is the second tier, and the third tier. The first tier is the shorter one, the second tier is the longer one, and then the last is the longest. On both the first and second tier, I would tiny weave the upper part and then do ordinary weaving on the lower part, after which I am going to gather the first and second tier. On the first tier, I'm going to mark out the dart by taking half of my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 4. So I'll mark 4 inches, and then from that 0.4 inches I'll come down by 5 inches. This is for our darts, and then I would stitch them up by half an inch. So we would do this for both the front and the back. The front part of this upper tier is going to have 2 darts, and the back part is going to also have 2 darts. Now I didn't say something which I'm going to say. The zipper is going to be at the side, which is the reason why I didn't cut a separate pattern for the back pattern of this first tier. So there is no need to add zipper allowance. It's still the same pattern I used to cut both sides. After you're done tiny weaving, before you start gathering, take half an inch away, and you're gathering on the side that you tiny weaved, not on the normal weaving part. So we're done. These are the first, second, and third tier. You can see I have weaved everything I have to do, and I have also gone ahead to do the darts, and I also weaved I did normal weaving for the lower part of the first tier. We'll pick one of this first here and we'll fold it into two like so. Then when we fold it, we'll come down by 1 inch, and this one is the one we are using for the front. This is the first tier that is going to stay on the front. So we'll come down by 1 inch and then make a curve. You know what this is meant for? It is so that you don't have any kind of puffiness when you wear the skirt around your pubic and abdominal pelvic area. So we are just going to cut this off. When you do this, your dart might be affected. If you are a beginner and you don't know how to handle this, your dart might be affected. So you would want to adjust the dart to fit in and make exactly 8 inch. Another way you can do this without adjusting the dart is for you to take half of your waist measurement, then place it on this waistline. Whatever it is that is remaining after you have done that, take that measurement of whatever is remaining, divide it into two, then share it on both sides. When you do so, you will now take your original allowance, which is 1.5 sewing allowance. Whatever is remaining, you cut it off as you see me do. Having done this, we'll join the front and the back part of the first tier together by 1.5 inch sewing allowance, just one part. The other part will be where you're going to add your zip. After joining the sides, you're going to notice this, and this is because it's an A line. You can see that little pointiness. So now we're going to correct it by making a little curve, and then we're going to cut out that curve and go and reweave it. So we've reweaved it. Now we are going to place the second tier on top of this, just like 1/2 inch away from the place we've weaved, as you see me do. And then we are just going to go and run stitches on it. This is the same thing we are going to do for the third tier as well. After stitching, this is what we have, and can you see that our skirt is looking very beautiful? Now we are going to add the third tier. So now we are going to cut the lining, and the lining you're going to cut it as a normal flare. I assume that as you're watching this video, you already have a knowledge in sewing. You should be able to know how to cut a normal flare. So after cutting, you will discover that two parts of the end parts did not meet up to the length. So we're just going to cut out pieces and join them as you are seeing me do. So when you're done joining them, you're going to weave, then you will remeasure and take the original measurement. That's how you'll get. We are done adding the last tier. So now the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to take the length of our zipper. We're going to put our zipper now, and I'm going to take the length of that zipper minus 1 inch, and then from that place where I have marked the length of the zipper, I'm going to sew down. Please ensure that at that point where you started gathering, that they are meeting each other when you are about to join the skirts together, as you're seeing me do. That's why you see me using the pins to hold them at that area as you're seeing. So I'm done stitching, and I have attached the zip as well. You will notice that the zip is like 1 inch coming out, and this is because you're going to fold it later. You just fold the tip. I'll show you what I mean by you're going to fold the tip later. So you're going to fold the tip later so that when you are done with everything and you want to attach the band, you can close up the zip to the end without a hook. So this is what I'm talking about, and can you see that I have folded up the tip while still leaving like 1 inch? And so now I'm going to use this lining to cover up. Please ensure that before you start covering up, weave the sides of the lining. But I'm not weaving this side because the side is already close it. So you can see I've attached the zipper and I've covered it up with the lining, and I'm going to close up the lining like I did for the skirt when I'm done with the whole skirt. So I've gone ahead to cut fabric pieces of 33 inches long and 5 inches width. So now I'm just going to fold it into two. This is going to help us to know how our band is going to sit. So now make sure that each end of this band is actually turned in, such that you now have exactly 4 inches remaining. So as you can see, I'm turning in the other end of the fabric piece. So this is how you are going to continue. Mind you, when I was done cutting this fabric piece, I also use hairstay to hold it down. This is to just add a little bit of a stamina. It's totally optional. You don't have to add it if you don't want to add it. Now watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take this band as it is, and I'm going to place it. See, as I'm placing it inside that remaining, you see the reason why we left that other part of the zip that was coming out. So now I'm just going to stitch up this part that I've placed inside. The way I put the pin, that's the way I'm going to stitch it up, so that when we are done you will not see anywhere that is stitched up the band from. So we are done, and now we're just turning over. As you can see, I'm just turning over, and from here I'm guessing you should know what to do. Just start arranging the head of this fabric into the skirt ends, as you can see. So this is what you're just going to do. So that's all. We are done with the band stitching, and I've also gone ahead to close up the ends of the skirt. As you can see, I weaved and I closed up. So now I'm just going to go ahead and iron out everything nice and neatly. So here we have our beautiful off-shoulder sheared blouse with 3-tier gathered skirts, and I love this dress so much. It's so beautiful. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you would love to buy this dress, I've linked my Instagram shop on the description box. Send me a message and let's make this dress for you guys. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.